We also got news on other healthcare picks to run the CDC. Donald Trump picked a former Republican congressman who for years has crusaded on the false claim that vaccines must be the cause of autism to lead the National Institute of Health. Trump's top candidate endorsed herd immunity as the best way to address the COVID pandemic.
The people are choosing Trump. The people are choosing RFK Jr. The people are choosing the people that Trump is putting in play. The people that stood up against, and I'm going to give you an example right now. Matter of fact, I'll give you an example right now. So this is a Rachel Maddow story. Do we have that? Promise. All right, take a listen to this.
Accidentally bashed President-elect Donald Trump's top pick for the National Institute of Health, Dr. Bhattacharya, criticizing his stance on COVID lockdowns.
On the heels of Donald Trump picking him to run Medicare and Medicaid in this country, we also got news on other healthcare picks to run the CDC. Donald Trump picked a former Republican congressman who for years has crusaded on the false claim that vaccines must be the cause of autism to lead the National Institute of Health. Trump's top candidate endorsed herd immunity as the best way to address the COVID pandemic.
Let me give y'all real quick. Everything that they do, like I have to just keep stopping it as soon as they start talking. If all of these doctors, like just think about how many people, doctors and not necessarily doctors, like RFK Jr. is not a doctor. Think about how many people that they try to say, oh, they're anti-vaxxers. They think that vaccines cause autism. They think that. My only question is, I don't know what it causes, but maybe there should be a study done on it. Maybe we should kind of look into it. Maybe we shouldn't just completely rule it out when we clearly have a growing population of autistic kids where it's grown at, I mean, it's when you really think about how, I think it was like 1 in 10,000 before. Now it's like 1 in 20 kids. And my numbers are, I'm just kind of estimating there based on some interviews that I've seen. So if somebody wants, they could look up the exact numbers and write it in the chat. But clearly there's an issue here. But I'm just wondering if all these people, because they're always highlighting, well, this person said that they're crazy because they said that vaccines can possibly lead to the autism problem. Well, if so many people are saying it, then maybe we should actually look into it. Maybe we should actually look into it, especially if a lot of these people that were saying that were starting to realize that some of the other things that they were saying that y'all tried to make them out to be crazy on, actually, they were right on. So I don't know.
Herd immunity as the Trump's top candidate endorsed herd immunity as the best way to address the COVID pandemic. Just a fancy way of saying, let's get everybody sick and see what happens. Cull the weak, cull the elderly.
Now we know that the vaccines work well enough that the virus stops with every vaccinated person. A vaccinated person gets exposed to the virus does not infect them. The virus cannot then use that person to go anywhere else. It can.
March 29th, 2021. Wrong and strong. Strong and extremely wrong. This is just wrong. It came out that the vaccine does not stop, that it was not Pfizer. We already have gone over this. The vaccine did not do the things that she claimed that it did.
Not use a vaccinated person as a host to go get more people. That means the vaccines will get us to the end of this.
Dr. Bhattacharya responded to Maddow's criticism on X, writing, quote, Maddow is lying about the Great Barrington Declaration. It advocated for focused protection of the elderly and vulnerable. It's the lockdown strategy she espoused that led to the calling of children, of the poor, and the vulnerable. Has she ever heard of Sweden? End quote.
Look, and I wish it was the way Rachel Maddow had insisted in that clip, that if you get the vaccine, you're not able to get COVID, but it turned out that was not the way it works. Turns out it works the way, and this could have been predicted, as the flu vaccine doesn't stop you, hasn't eradicated the flu, and wouldn't even if we all got it, because it doesn't stop you necessarily from getting it. It has a mildly protective effect, as does the COVID vaccine. So does getting COVID. That has a mildly protective effect on getting that same strain for some.
And I want to stop it here and actually go back for a second, because I really have no intention of even having the jab debate. Don't even care. What I wanted to highlight, this is just another example of us not being able to trust mainstream media. And I think this should serve as a wake-up call, because there were a lot of people. Think about whose ratings did tremendously well during COVID. It's the news, mainstream media, the news stations. People were watching the news all day, every day, and relying on the news to give them information about decisions that they were going to make regarding not only their health, but their family's health. So you have Rachel Maddow coming out saying these things that haven't been proven, haven't been tested. Matter of fact, the studies now that have come out say the opposite, and that's why Pfizer had to come out. That's why Pfizer's getting sued by a lot of these lawsuits that are coming out. That's why Bill Gates is being sued, because they put out allegedly they put out certain information that was not consistent with actual science, with actual results, with actual studies. Pfizer came out and said, well, yeah, we never even tested for that. So clearly, if you never tested for it, then how could you not? It's like, we never tested for this, but we're going to market it as solving this problem, even though we never tested it. And then Rachel Maddow, strong and wrong. And not only was she strong and wrong then in 2021, but now she's accusing, because this is the new attack that they've had with all Trump cabinet members. They're trying to just tear them apart and make us believe that these people are different people than they truly are, and that they were pushing different things than they actually did. And this is just another example of how it's been backfiring on them. I didn't even know who Jay Bhattacharya was. Didn't know who he was. Didn't know if he was a good pick from Trump or a bad pick. But her saying these lies in which he checked, now I'm aware of who Jay is. Now I'm sitting here thinking like, oh, not only am I aware of him, but he was actually pushing the same type of like strategy that I thought would be good for the lockdown, or would be good as far as addressing the issues that we were facing with COVID. So, and we're starting to see more and more of these people. And to me, it only goes back to what Mark Zuckerberg did when he exposed Biden and Harris for forcing the Meta platforms to censor a lot of this information. Because I'm sitting here realizing, like, all these people that Trump brought on, you got the Rachel Maddows going on here saying, well, this person was pushing this person was pushing that. This Jay Bhattacharya, he was pushing this technique for getting rid of COVID or for solving our COVID problem. And you start to realize, like, damn, there were a lot of doctors on the other side of the argument that was not presented to us. There were a lot of intelligent experts, specialists, doctors, scientists that were not pushing the same things that Anthony Fauci and mainstream media were pushing. Where was their voice? And then it makes sense when you hear, once again, Mark Zuckerberg calling out Biden and Harris for censoring his platforms. Because we did not see as much of that, of the Jay Bhattacharya. We did not see as much of his stance compared to the other stance, which is just telling us, nope, just get the vaccine. It's a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call. It's Dak. Just want to thank you for checking out our video and visiting the OG Network. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure that you give us a like. And if you're looking to join a community of inspired individuals striving for purposeful abundance, subscribe. And if you're feeling real generous, share the video with some friends and family. All right, I'll see y'all soon. Ew.